Okay, welcome back to Takabolo Gaming. My name is Takabolo. Let's continue our tutorial playthrough, and Aragon just claimed my throne. What does that mean? Well, everyone has Dynasty, so let's go to political map modes, which, by the way, political, diplomatic, economic, and geographic. It's sometimes difficult to tell where maps are, so you may have to just try and look through to figure this out. But Dynastic, probably not something you really have to work too much with, but there it is. So we have De Trustmarba, something like that. I come from Spanish origins, but it's a long time ago. So French have Devois, Lancaster's up here, the House of Stuart is up here, von Witzberg is up here, that kind of a thing. And currently, our dynasty is on the thrones in Castile, in Navarra, in Aragon, and in Naples. There are ways that you can get your dynasty on another throne. You don't have to worry about that as a beginner. But what Aragon did, because I do not have an heir, or I had an heir with a weak claim, and they have a royal marriage, and the same dynasty, they can click the button to claim throne. And that gives them a casus belli against me that will to basically install a personal union, to make them overlord over me. But I don't think that that's going to happen. Because they are allied to me, they're not going to press that. I did also notice that Aragon is the one that Austria allied to make too many relations. So we are past March 13th. So I'm going to now proclaim a guarantee, and that will give me 10. And we'll get to the next one. I got trustworthy allies. Yay! We will do that. So acquire subjects. Number of non-tributary subjects needs to be 2. Well, we'll work on that. Now Aragon has started the influence of nations. So yeah, they're racing to get this as well. We'll see if I can get it. Otherwise, it'll be the first failed estate. Or I may have to just attack. Well, we can send a gift of 25. And so we will do that. And that puts us at 178. What is our next? May 18th. I didn't know Aragon was a great power. Oh, they're number 8. Alright, so we're going to offer military access. That's going to bring us 10 more, and that's 189. And so that should, by June 19th, we should have 190. And we do. So on June 19th, I can click this button and diplomatically vassalize them. You can pretty much only do this with nations that are really, really small in comparison to you. Once again, we are recording on July 4th, and even though it's illegal to shoot off fireworks as of a half hour ago, they still are. We're going to ask Navarra to become our vassal, and they will do so. A lot of stuff there, but basically they have to be really, really weak in comparison to you and like you. And so now, they are our vassal. This will be fulfilled, and nobility will like me. There we go, and we have given another new diplomatic reputation. Yay. So now, we next have to worry about our stuff here. We still need to build a force limit, and we still need manpower to go up. And the fastest way, I think, to do this would be to get that mercenary company. But I'm still going to get monarch power because I think that's important. And so I'm going to have 3 level 1 advisors. I think that is something to definitely be doing. As Castile, you have the money to go ahead and do that. Especially since that one was nothing. So I'm going to go back to improving relations with Austria over here. And I'm also going to improve relations with Telemkin. Now, we cannot royal marry them because they are Sunni. If I go to the religion tab, Sunni is all this down here. Catholic is all up here. Oh, Bohemia went Hussite. No, they're still Catholic for now. So this province here is Portugal. It's occupied by Catholics, but the province religion is Sunni. Catholics, any Christian, cannot marry a non-Christian. This indicates a cardinal is there. That's new, I think. But any Christian cannot marry a non-Christian. The other way around is fine, but we can't marry Telemkin. So we can't, make them like us from that. But I'm going to improve relations with them just because I have nothing better to do with our diplomats, and we always want to have our diplomats doing something. And so I'm going to wait up and try and get 98 gold to hire this company here. Early game, I'm trying not to go fast, too fast, speed 3, because new players, I think that's something that is important to be doing. We do, okay, this is good. No, king, okay. So now, they have no heir. Theoretically, I could claim their throne, but I have to have more prestige than they do as well, which I do not have. Now, because I lowered maintenance, I should mention this. I lowered maintenance in the last episode to get some money. Okay, I'll deal with this in a moment. To get some money, and that has lowered my morale on my troops, which was already being hurt by our prestige. So our morale is really, really bad. You can actually find morale on the ledger. You should probably familiarize yourself with the ledger. Mainly, you're going to worry about the military here. Armies, mainly armies. So we can look at... oh. Really? There is way too much that is behind a paywall. That's crazy. All right, well, armies will tell you how much force limit they have. They won't tell you the morale. If you have a DLC, apparently they will. Anyway, but our morale is bad. Anyway, Aragon has had an event, the Neapolitan Succession. So I'm guessing that once their king dies, Naples can decide if they want to remain under Aragon, or Aragon just gets an event. I don't know. I haven't played Aragon to figure this out. Every game I've played so far in the Emperor patch, they have chosen we shall follow Alphon's last testament. And what that means is that Naples is no longer under PU. So I'm actually going to come in here, and I'm going to stop this. I want to see who Naples allies. Okay, this is another one. Because if Naples doesn't ally Aragon, so doesn't rival Aragon, I might ally myself with them. Same with the Pope. I don't want to be allied to the Pope's rival either, because that makes them angry. So there are certain events that happen at the beginning of every game that Paradox wants you to know about, right? This new one is Naples staying under personal union with Aragon, or is Naples going to be free? They want you to know that. Another big one they want you to know is what happens with an event called the Surrender of Maine. So at some point in the early game, in fact, October of 1445, a full year into the game, is pretty late, actually, for this to happen. England will get an event called the Surrender of Maine, and they have a choice. Before the game, England, in real life, surrendered to France and said they will give the province of Maine, the county of Maine, to France. And they haven't done it. And so England will get an event early in the game saying, do we want to give this back? The answer is yes or no. In this case, England chose no. If they choose yes, then the province goes back to France and nothing else happens. If they choose no, then France gets an event. And France can choose whether to just say, you know what, no harm, no foul, or whether to push the claim, if you will, and go to war. And that is what France has chosen. We will teach them how to war. So they have gone to war. It is an offensive war in the purposes of EU4. England is attacking France. Now that doesn't matter too much in this DLC because they can still call in allies, but that's kind of a necessary thing if you have a certain DLC that changes the way the allies work to have favors. Because this early in the game, you're not going to have enough favors to call in partners for offensive wars. You're going to have to promise them land, do a bunch of crazy stuff to call in people for offensive wars. And right now, England is, Lancaster, Olafi, and Portugal. France is Scotland and Provence. They will automatically get a defensive call. So Provence is in, Scotland is probably in, as well as all of France's vassals, which is Orléans, Almanac, whatever that is. That one, yeah. So lots of, is that Bourbonnais? Yes, something like that. So all of those nations against England, and maybe Lancaster, Olafi, and Portugal. They have to, want to join. So, yeah, that's going to be a slaughter, probably. Although it'll be interesting to see what Scotland and England do there. See, if I were to declare war, Aragon, you have to beg them to come in, kind of deal. Okay, so Aragon has now set Naples as their rival, which means that I do not want to ally Naples. And in fact, Naples doesn't want to ally me because I am allied to their rival. So that's not a thing. I will say though that Austria is closer because they are at war. One thing you can do is if you see someone who you want to ally, who is at war and in a defensive war, they will want to ally you because they're in a defensive war. It doesn't show here, but it checks out. They will want to ally you because they are in a defensive war. So if I had my relations up with them during the midst of this war, I could maybe steal the alliance while they're in war. I might get called into that war, but I'm a big boy in Castile. I can handle it. But right now, I think I'm going to just ally the Pope and kind of just lean on that bit going on there. So these are my 4 relations at the moment. We have, the local ones with Aragon, Navarra. We have one for future wars with Tlemcen, and then we have the Papal State. And I have a free diplomat. Let's go ahead and start improving relations with Aragon just for fun. Alright, so I have my ships here. They are done. And I think that puts me at 100% naval force limit, and it does. So we are closing in on having enough money here. So England has laid claim to me. So one thing I could be doing is getting claims on my neighbors. The reason I'm not doing that is because I know in my missions I'm going to get a claim on the Upper Andalusia area, which is Granada. Once I complete that, and I have reclaimed Andalusia, then I get a claim on all of these areas, which let's look at the areas, geographical map modes, areas. So I get a claim on all of Portugal and all of Aragon, these 3 here. So there's no reason for me to be getting claims unless I wanted to just go to war with Morocco, which at the moment I do not need to do. Alright, so we are very close. I am wanting the general. The free general. And so I'm going to save up to the 99. I have enough to get the free company right now. But this is kind of a free general. You don't have to do monarch power, and it's a really nice thing to do. Really nice thing to have. We have gotten an heir, a very, very good heir. So every monarch has 0 to 6 in each of these categories. So 3, a total of 9 is about average. And yeah, this guy is 12. I like it. The joke, of course, in EU4 is that that means that they're going to die very, very soon. So we're going to get this. I love the 4 siege general. Now, when you try and hire a mercenary company, they come from here. So they have to travel to arrive wherever you're going. So I can send them over here and it's going to take 38 days, or I can send them here and it's going to take 15 days. So I'm going to put them right there. And they start training. They'll be here in 15 days, on the 19th of February. And when they arrive, they don't have much morale. So I would like to make sure that that goes with inside of the monthly tick that I was on. So yeah, they will, build up their morale as they go. What I'm now going to do is, I'm going to take my 3 cavalry, which I don't want to delete just simply because I need the manpower and I need the force limit for my mission. Normally I would, not have these 3 cav, even though I have that kind of money. You always want to have at least 1 infantry for cavalry. So as I'm splitting them off, I am making sure I split off 3 infantry as well. So just to show how I did that, create new unit. And then you can move all, or you can move 1. Or you can move half. If you right-click, it transfers half the units. Right, so I could have just done it this way. You want, in army composition, at this point in the game, you want to have 4 cavalry or no cavalry. And then infantry to get up to the, in military tab over here, the combat width. So we'll kind of go over the UI as we kind of move, as we kind of go. So I'm going to take these 6 and I'm going to go over here. And I'm going to take these 6 that are just infantry and I'm going to put them with the other infantry that I have. And I'm going to combine these units. So you combine by clicking either G or merge the selected units when you have all the units you want to combine selected and in the same province. You notice I cannot merge them because this one is not in the same province. We're going to merge these units and have this army of 18. It needs to be 20 combat width to be a full army. So I know I will need 2 more units there. We currently have 29 of 35. We need to build 6 more. Conveniently, the free company has 6, so I may just go ahead and do that. Now, these guys are going to head up here. And they cannot merge because the mercenaries and regulars cannot merge together. What I am going to do is I'm going to say I allow friendly units to attach to this army, to the one with the general, to the Merc, and then I'm going to switch over to the other one and I'm going to say attach. I'm going to tell them to attach to the free whatever they were. And now, even though they're 2 units, I can select 1 and have them move as 1. So that's something that I didn't know for a while That's really, really nice. The other thing to notice is that every province has a supply limit. You can see it mostly when you have an army selected and you hover over a province. It is seeable down here in the provincial tab. Every general has a maneuver pip, in this case 3. So the total supply that this army takes up is the total number of troops currently in the army, which is 14 plus 4 because we're fully staffed, minus the maneuver of the general. So right now, the supply of this army that it takes is 15. Supply limit is 26 here. But if I were to move it to a province that has less than 15, which right now I think I only have the one that has 15, then it would start to take attrition. I would start to lose manpower. I would start to lose men if I lost all of my manpower. So that's something to kind of note. You kind of want to always know what are your biggest provinces. So like Huelva. No. Huelva? I do know Spanish, but I am just tired tonight, I guess. Has 33. That's likely where I'm going to keep my armies stationed in times of peace. Your capital is usually good, but in my case it's not. 26 here. That's why I put them here. 26 is a lot. Kind of just know your land. You can get more supply limit by developing in military, and then by technology. And some ideas, but that's about it. So we're going to move them, because they have only 16, even though they've got a really good general for that, we're going to move them to Murcia down here. And then I'm going to wait until I have 80 gold. I may not keep those mercenaries, but it lets me get my mission faster. In fact, I'm going to move these guys down here to, well, let's move to Sevilla. I'm actually going to go ahead and build, well, I don't have Mercs that are like 4. So yeah, I think I'm just going to keep, knowing that this is not a full combat with army, I'm going to just kind of keep it there, just because I don't want to lose my manpower, because I need that for the mission. So I am going to do the Merc way of doing things. Actually, let's test this out. What happens if I create a new unit and I lower that down? Send them over here. Yes. So I would have to do it this way, and I am going to go ahead and do that. I want 20. I want a combat army. So even though it would give me 5 cavalry, and that is, ooh, that's not good. I got a morale of armies -5. Morale of armies is already bad. Even though it will give me 5 cavalry, it will also give me a 20 combat width, and I want that. So we're going to do that, and then we will hire the mercenaries when we get to that point, and we might actually lose some money when we go to full maintenance. I don't know. Because of the mercenaries, they do cost more. As you can see, 24 army is 3.77, and 5 mercs is 2.05. But we kind of have some money as Castile, so I'm not overly concerned about it. And honestly, once we get the mission, we might well get rid of these and switch over. Certainly after the war. Alright, so Granada now has rebels. Makes them even more ripe for the picking. Alright, so 80 is this month. There we go. And we're just going to put them right in the province down there. I think the free company comes from your capital. And notice I can't combine Mercs either. So that's something to remember as well. But I still can tell them to attach as well. And so now, effectively, I have merged the armies. And I have fulfilled a mission. I think it is just this one. So that will give me morale of armies +5, which is very nice. And I want to just get that mission out of the way. One of the first things you should do if you have a build to force limit mission, which almost every nation does, get that one out of the way, because it's easier to do at the beginning than it is at any other point in the game. Now we need to get manpower of 60%, which I'd love for it to tell us what 60% is. It doesn't, but we are actually pretty close. So it wouldn't hurt to be looking. Now would be a good time if I had money to fire some of these guys. We are going to go ahead and increase army maintenance up, and I don't think we need to worry about our forts. I don't think they're going to get there in time. I am going to move my army, though, over to deal with Granada's army, and I'm going to check and see if they got any more allies. They did. They got Tunis. That's good. If Granada allied the Ottomans, that would have been very, very bad. I probably would not have wanted to take that war. Morocco and Tunis is going to be difficult, but I don't think it'll be impossible. And you'll notice that I think we were paying full maintenance on the Mercs. We were not paying full maintenance on our regular troops, so that does change a little bit the calculation there, but we still are making 4 gold, so we're still fine. Alright, so the next thing, we had the surrender of Maine. That was one event. Another event is Poland. Poland begins the game with no ruler, and at some point, very early, this is late for them as well, they will get a question. What do we want to do for our ruler? And they will, this is an event called the Successor of Vladislav III, and they have 2 options. They can say we need a Jagiellon, which makes Lithuania fall under them, under Poland, in a personal union. Or they can say, let us appoint a local noble instead, in which case they just get a random new king, usually a very, very good random new king. Let's see how good he is. 555. That's actually bad for that event, what that event usually gives. But Lithuania remains free. If you play Poland, you always, 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 always need a Jagiellon. You always need the personal union. So we are going to have a bit of a problem because the Ottomans are going to go strong because they're going to get in here. There will be nothing to stop them. Another one is Moldavia. Moldavia gets an event. I have no idea. Submit to Roman's rule or what these mean. But they're now in March under Poland. Fantastic. I don't really worry too much about what happens to Moldavia. They either fall under Hungary or Poland, or they stay independent where they will probably get eaten by the Ottomans. So that's what happens with that one. So now let's take a look here. Now, this would be good, because I can tell you what happens here. We have Granadan Pretender Rebels. So I would love to know what 60% is. In fact, since this is a tutorial, let's figure this out. 60%, well, 50% is about 14. 10% is about 2.7. So let's say probably 16, roughly, 1,000 that you're going for. So it should be a couple more months. And we will get that mission done, and then Ooh, Portugal also has... Ooh, Lisboa has been cut in half. I did not know that happened. They have a few extra provinces. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and pull back from Aragon. So if you declare war on someone, and they have rebels, or if you're just at war, if they have rebels sieging down a fort, there is a fort here. If they have rebels sieging down a fort and you defeat the rebel army, you take over their siege wherever they are in it. So right now we would take over at -21 instead of whatever it was before that. And everything that they get just increases us. Alright, well, apparently my calculation was slightly off. 16,260 is not getting it done. And if you feel comfortable speeding up to get to this point isn't, you know that I'm just waiting, right? I'm just waiting for manpower to get to 60%. All right, so Granada has surrendered to the rebels, so they won't have that happening. Oh well. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to flip these around, because I would like my 4 siege mercenary general on the level 2 fort. It'll be fine. 16,070? Is that enough? That one's enough. So somewhere between 16,500 and 16,700. So this will also give us morale of armies +5, so that's going to be really good. We have lost some morale, so we would like to have morale. Alright, so now we have claims on all 4 of these provinces, so that is something that's really good. Oh, we have a truce. That's right, we have a truce until February of 1448. Well, I will end this episode here then, and then in February we will definitely be attacking. If you have enjoyed this, please do like, leave a comment, and subscribe down below, and I'll see you next time.